Alrighty then. So hello everyone. Welcome back to some more Malice Reacts. This time we are going into some paranormal files, and apparently this one's going to be a bit close to home for the paranormal files as we venture into an American Horror Story, My Family Haunting, full movie, horrifying paranormal activity, haunted. I saw the first 10 seconds or so of this. Apparently, in 2013, Collin's family built a house on then unused land, and apparently not long after moving into said house, they began to have hauntings, and very recently they have finally finished moving out from that house and finally have detached from everything that was involved in that house. And so this is their big final a culmination of everything they've witnessed and everything they've seen in that house, I'm assuming. So with no further ado, let us begin My Family Haunting from the Paranormal Files. Go.
This is my mom and dad, Mary and Jeff. This is my sister, Tessa.
Hi, Tessa.
In 2013, my family moved into a brand new home that we had constructed on previously undeveloped land in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We had no idea that in doing so, we would be putting ourselves into the center of a dangerous haunting that would go on to haunt each member of our family for years to come and even through the present day.
Oh, so maybe there is still some attachment.
What you will see and hear in this documentary is real. Be prepared. Now that we've sold our house, I can finally tell our story.
But I would assume since they sold it, there might be less attachments to it, but there might still be some side effects they're getting over. Also have RC Cola. About 6 years later.
So, you two introduce yourselves.
I'm Jeff Brown.
And I'm Mary Erickson Brown.
How long have you guys been married?
26 years?
27.
27 years.
27.
And you guys think this house is haunted?
Yes. For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We had the land with my clinic building down the hill, and we had two homes up here that we had moved. We donated them to a charity, and we created 3 lots. And then the middle lot here was not really existent. And so we own land behind this lot, if you will, and the guy that owned this lot owned a strip of that prevented us from accessing that lot, so that's why we bought the 2 homes, rezoned it all, and then we built our home on this middle lot. And then basically that happened in 2012, 13, we moved in, and so the lot to the west of us is still empty, and the lot next to us now, they've just built a home on it this year. So,
But basically, you built the whole house.
yeah, brand new house.
On the property
Nothing
for quite a
weird
while,
or
apparently.
sketchy about building or anything.
No.
Just seemed like a normal house.
Yep.
So, what was moving in like?
It was great moving in. This was our first house that we built, and it was kind of our dream house. So we were totally excited. Everything went really well. The move went really well. We were just moving boxes kind of towards the end of the move, and that's when something started to happen.
So, what was the first memory you have of something paranormal happening here?
I remember when we were moving, going back and forth between our old house and this house, and we left Tessa here, and Jeff and I went back for another load, and when we came back, she was hiding in her closet, crying and saying that she heard voices and somebody doing dishes, and she was wondering if I was here. And we said no, we had gone to the old house, and she tried to take her screen off and get out of her room. And at the time, we just thought, okay, maybe she's going through something with the move. Not sure really what to think about everything she was saying.
But it only got worse from there.
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tessa. I'm Collin's sister.
How old are you?
Restart. Hi, wait. Hi, my name is Tessa. I'm Collin's sister.
Elvis?
I'm 18, and I'm about to be a freshman in college.
What is your first impression of the house when we first moved in? Doesn't have to be ghostly.
I was really excited to see how the new house would turn out, and I was really excited for the future.
What was the first experience that you had here?
The first experience I had was when we first moved in, and my parents had gone back to our old house to get more boxes and more of our things. So I decided to stay back in the new house and wait for them. So I was waiting in my bedroom unpacking my new stuff when I started hearing dishes clinking in the kitchen and all different kinds of noises and even water running. And so basically I got super freaked out and I locked my bedroom door and started freaking out, tried to call my parents, but basically I just kept hearing dishes clinking around like someone was doing dishes in the kitchen. So I locked my door and started crying and tried to get out of my bedroom, my bedroom window, and took the screens off. But there was no one there outside my room, and I thought someone was in the house.
What happened next? What do you guys remember?
So what I remember is really Collin and Tessa coming to us and saying that they were hearing, I think it was really mainly male voices,
Men's
coming from down their bedroom hallway. And also I think at that time there was some things with Collin, like seeing shadows or maybe crawling on the floor at that time. So they constantly be coming into our bedroom at night, being afraid, sleeping in our bed with us. We didn't really quite believe it at first. Kind of like, it seemed kind of odd.
What started to happen?
Well, me and Collin both have had lots of experiences down at the end of our hallway, but our rooms have always been the hot spot of the house, we feel like. But I've had different things happen in my room and Collin's room, but I mean, I've just felt like there was someone there watching me sometimes. But I'd say, first of all, I've heard men's voices in my closet multiple times. I guess another time I also had been sleeping in my bed one night when all of a sudden I heard my computer start up again, and there was a movie that I was watching and it had popped up again on my computer when it was completely dead. So I just heard that come on at night one night and I was really freaked out, but my computer was completely dead. So I guess there was just little things that have happened in my room that have really freaked me out. But
Interesting.
also,
I've actually had
when you
this
go over to
machine
Collin's
randomly
bedroom, there's also
pop
been a
back
lot of
on while I've
things
been
that have
going to work
happened.
too.
And I've heard
I'd
crawling
swear that
and
I
clawing on the
told it
floors
to turn
at
off, but
nighttime
it's
in
just
his
sitting there
room.
like it just
And
reloaded
I've
again.
heard lots of different men's voices also over there. But I'd say the clawing is really creepy in Collin's room. So that's another crazy thing that's happened to both me and Collin. So it's quite a bit.
I think, it wasn't too long after that we kind of started to hear our own stuff. I think what really hit me actually was one night, like at 3 a.m. or so, the TV just came on, just blaring. It was like a fuzzy white screen, and then I think the smoke detector kept going off like every night, like it would go off for like 3 or 4 nights. And then we just started to hear things and thought that was really, and the dishes also. We heard that. I think that was kind of the end, really, actually, when we started to hear the dishes ourselves, was when we called Donna. But it started with Collin and Tessa, hearing those male voices at the end of the hall or in their bedroom. I know Collin definitely seen, like, that was creepy. I felt like a shadow crawling around his bed on the floor. That was a weird thing. But I think in the beginning, again, we kind of thought they were just kind of like, this can't really be true.
Well, we thought it was a brand new house.
Yeah.
So we're like, that, you guys it can't be haunted if it's brand new.
Right, yeah.
And then they both started saying the same thing when they weren't together. So then it started to get a little bit strange.
Yeah.
What was
Well, when
for
they
both
see
of
the
you
same thing,
the
then it's
moment
not
where
even
you
at the same
realized
time. It's like
the house was haunted?
For me, I remember Collin saying he was home alone one afternoon and he called us and was totally freaked out and said he heard a baby crying in the house, and he had been talking on the phone to one of his friends, and this friend had heard this noise too, and we kind of just brushed it off because like
That's
there's no
weird.
baby in the house. And then probably the next day Jeff was out in the garage and he came in and he said, I actually heard a baby in the garage. And so then you and I were, oh my gosh, maybe Collin did hear something. And I was helping Tessa a couple days later, sitting by the island, just total silence, working on Spanish with her. And we totally heard a baby cry coming from down in the lower level. And so we each heard it on separate occasions and in different areas of the house. And after that, we never heard it again. But that totally...
Listen. There go the dogs barking. Weird timing. From downstairs.
Right.
Well, I mean, the baby was a big one. Yeah, so the way I remember it is more that you and Tessa heard it. I came home, and you're like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what's happened. And then you heard the baby cry. So I hadn't actually heard the baby until like maybe a day or two later. And I was going out of the garage, and it clearly a baby crying, you know, like I'd say
that would freak
2
somebody
seconds,
out.
3 seconds at the most. And that was like a big one. Yeah, I would say that probably for me, the TV coming on and then the smoke detector going off night after night in a row. And finally, the clinking of the dishes for me when I thought actually somebody was out there in the dishes. And I actually got up out of the bed.
That's when
I
you have to
came
get out
back
of bed
and
because
laid
you're
in bed
hearing
with
something. And you're I'd be literally hidden there with the baseball bat, going,
You know,
"What the hell's going on?"
It's really a noise. Like
Going in there and then
it
find
was.
nothing.
So I think that was kind of the
That would just
defining
kind of
moment
drive
for
you up
me,
the wall.
Is that kind of led up to that? You know, when I went from, you know, the TV was weird. I remember getting in bed saying, "Well, that was really weird." You know, probably just something, you know, electrical. And then the smoke detector, like I said, going off 2-3 nights in a row, and I got more freaked out. And then the dishes was kind of the end where I was like, okay, something's going on here.
Well, you may think you understand where this story begins. To tell the full truth here, we have to leave Sioux Falls, travel up to North Dakota, and step 2 years into the past.
This is the original, one of the only original buildings on the farm.
This one right here.
Yeah. That is a good question. I have no idea.
Do you know anybody? Like, whose wood is this?
I don't know. I don't have any idea, but you know, it's over 100 years old probably.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh. And then that little guy.
This is the crazier one to me because a kid's shoe is pretty distinct. That was the husband and the wife's shoes,
Probably.
and they're still there. They're right there.
Probably. Uh-huh.
There's so many artifacts around here.
Horseshoes.
We are in your enchanted garden, right?
Yes.
So this, before we even did this was all forest.
Yes.
From basically here all through here. And over the years, you just carved through it all, created it. What are your favorite features?
I like it all. So,
Nona's enchanted forest that she has set up is filled with all sorts of history. For example, what she has turned into the Harry Potter house was once the outhouse for the farm.
So much history, like, everywhere around here. Every place you look, there's something. Speaking of that, let's go take a look at the sheep. Okay. That's my favorite, obviously, part of the enchanted forest.
My apologies for the terrible audio here. Even with a shotgun microphone, the wind was so horrible that day, and I didn't realize how badly it sounded.
Yeah, you
what
never
Nona's
know
saying
until
here is
later.
that this wagon is the original wagon that the first members of our family rode to this farm on in order to settle the land.
Wow.
It's a crazy old piece of history just sitting in a patch of grass.
Crazy piece of family history, yeah.
this is
You'll
your
just see that and go,
pride.
that's it. That's what brought us
This
here.
is your pride.
Yes.
The old chicken coop. Is this original?
It was used, I think, for different purposes, but maybe for the chickens. And then they probably used it for sheep, like Mary and Milo did when they were 4-H. They had sheep, and they kept a couple of them in here. And then we changed it over to a chicken coop, and they raised chickens in here. Then it became Halloween house.
Well, let's take a look.
Yes.
Why don't you let it take us into the House of Horrors?
And thanks to Mary, she was very instrumental in getting it started. And then we added all of these guys, and we've had more fun out here. Every Halloween, we've been out here and told stories in our costumes.
Bring the kids out here for the party.
Yeah,
Tell what you were literally just saying.
That's good.
You know, when we were growing up, it was always my dad's brother said that, and there was a barn on the farm, and at night, and their father had passed away several years, but there was a lantern that would go from window to window after dark, and they would think that that was their father, but a lot of times they saw a lantern in the barn, and then they said they saw the devil behind the barn, which I don't believe that one, but I do believe that ghost story because we always heard that one a lot growing up.
Anything else? Any other ones you can think of?
Hard to say on that
I
one
just know
because
that
I've heard
Art,
of
he
Stranger
was a
Things.
big
I've heard of people
trickster,
seeing like
like
living
you said,
gargoyles
with the sheep,
in cities.
playing a lot of
There's some weird stuff out there.
like he would tie like a rocking chair and tie a string to it and rock it and then say there was a ghost. Then this was an old story too, when Norman, my dad's dad, died. He had a heart attack,
Yes.
and then his sister in California, or where would she have been, or was she in Norway? But she saw a clear picture of him clutching his heart, and then she found out too that he had died. So there's something in
The family.
our family where you can, I don't know if you're seeing visions or if this person's appearing to you, but there's
I have a
those
tendency to believe there's a
stories
little bit of
those
that in my
people
family as well.
swear
I know my
and-
sister has it a little
You've been
bit
in
more than I do,
Fargo,
but I swear
and then
once
you
in a
said
while
that
I've
you
had
did have that one,
inclinations
like
of
you were in
something
bed,
before,
and then he
find
would
out
always
not long
come into
afterwards that
bed.
something happened to
and
somebody I
then
know.
you kind of felt like something on the bed, sit down, like it was almost getting into
Sure.
bed.
Yeah.
After the chicken coop, I watched as Mary and Nona walked back to the farmhouse, and I couldn't help but reminisce on all of the amazing memories that I've had at the farm over the years. The place really does carry a peaceful energy.
Do you wanna just tell me about the energy of the farm and just how it feels to just be here?
I just always think the energy is really high energy with all of the farming going on and comings and goings and still so busy. And so I just think that it's high energy, just a lot of energy. And I think I just feel always like that, I don't know, that I feel like people are still around. Like I feel Norman here when I come, and I just always think about his brothers living here and just how we have such a connection to this land. So there is a lot of energy.
I also have always thought that the farm just has a really good energy around the area. Just being here feels really nice and very calm. Like right now in the morning, it's just beautiful out. It's bright and sunny, and it's just nice. And I actually had an experience here. It would have been 2 summers ago, where I was sleeping in the bedroom. It used to be your old bedroom, Mary's, my mom's, and I heard footsteps come up the stairs, and the stairs make a distinctive creak, you know? You step on like
Yeah.
the 3rd or 4th, and I heard those creaks, and then these footsteps came all the way up the stairs and then stopped right at the edge of the bedroom. And I thought Tessa, my sister, was going to come in and say something, or Mary, or, you know, whoever was in the house. And no one ever came in. And I actually have a phone clip on my phone because I started recording after that. It's like 16 minutes of just the darkness and silence because I thought something was going to happen, but nothing ever happened. And I was pretty freaked out. So I don't know what that was, but it was very interesting to say the least. See, here's the stairway, by the way, for my story. Here's the stairway. Watch this. I'll show you the creaky step. Right there. No matter how you hit it, it squeaks. And so does this one.
Later that night, we stopped by to see my cousins in Mayville, North Dakota, and I thought of asking them if they thought the farm is haunted. My cousin Simon's response was actually pretty shocking to me. Here's what he had to say.
Okay, Simon, so why don't you tell me what you feel about Nona's house since you're out there a lot?
Well, it's very creepy. It's more of a... Well, it's an old house and lots of dead things there. She has a bone pile. Downstairs basement's very creepy. It's just, you know, your average 93-year-old great-grandma's house.
What do you think about what were you telling me about the light too?
Oh, like if you turn on the light in the basement and there's supposed to be one by the shower, it, like when you're taking a shower, sometimes it just flickers. So it's really creepy.
And you work out there alone a lot?
Yeah, like weeks at a time usually. So it's just really creepy.
Yeah.
What?
I don't like coming here late at night.
Why?
Well, 'cause it's lightning, Gabriel. It's back on.
Oh my God, what the hell? It's back on, Mom.
So we had just left the Clifford School earlier that night, and we were driving back towards Nona's farm when we noticed a light on the side of the road turn off.
The church that Nona goes to a lot. It's right down the street from her farm, out in the middle of nowhere.
She would just come and practice on her own, and there was nobody in the church, and she would sometimes hear noises and get totally creeped out and have to leave. So,
By the way,
I've never been in here at night.
anyone who sees that in the background is huge lightning right there in the distance. It's incredible. So yeah, you've never been here at night?
Not this late.
There's a cemetery literally right here, right behind the church where my grandpa's actually buried. And we're doing this in an effort to investigate our theory that hauntings are not confined to places where people died. They can be places where people spent a lot of time, where energy has been imprinted. And if you are religious, this is a place where you come to connect with your spirituality, and people would come every Sunday of their lives if they lived out here, and then eventually, what the hell? Why is it doing that? Well, they do this every week. They repeat
This boy has a history of seeing light posts suddenly go out and then suddenly come back.
Church, and then eventually they would die and be
One does
buried
wonder if something
literally
does
right
follow
here
him
behind the
around,
church. So if there's a place
since it happens so
where their
often
energy
with
has
him.
been stored and or imprinted, I should say, I would feel like it would be this church. It's a very creepy church. So
Very old church.
without further ado,
Not necessarily creepy. I've
let's
seen
go see
creepier looking churches.
this place has
Better play
anything
Diablo, boy.
spooky associated.
That's a effing creepy church. Seems like your typical church for the most part.
So like I said before, this is just a normal church. We're here because people spent every Sunday here basically for their entire lives, and I feel like that creates an energy imprint, and we're going to
some
see
sort of imprint
if
of energy,
a regular
yeah,
church
people
with no
coming here
deaths
so often and
has
being
anything to
such a
say
big
so
part of
many
their
years
lives
later.
so often.
I wanted to do an investigation here, like in a church, I should say, but I've never been given the chance.
That's supposed to be like the everlasting light that goes all the time.
Yeah, I was on today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's supposed to be on all the time.
Is anybody here that went to school or attended the church? This is Mary. I went to church here growing up. Sunday school, confirmation. My entire family went to church here, and some of them still do. I love this church. We're not being disrespectful.
So many just movements.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell what they all are.
Mm-hmm.
Big
Personally
wooden room,
feel
yeah,
like
it's hard to
there's a
say.
very heavy energy in
Takes
here.
a little shift and
I
you
feel
can hear it pop
just
across the
very
room.
like there are a lot of people that spent their lives around here and in this area. Someone's been in here today. I said someone's been in here today. We're in here today. The piano is open because I was touching the keys. And the piano is shut. Yeah, look at it. Someone came in and just randomly shut this. They didn't touch these other ones. Weirdly enough, I didn't touch these either. It's just this one that I was trying to play. This is your last chance to say anything. We are about to leave. Any members of the congregation, pastors, and the light's still on. Didn't shut off again. So here are all these tombstones and gravestones. And all these people that are buried here went to church every Sunday, right up there in that church. I feel like that's definitely left an energy imprint. So I'm not gonna lie, that small amount of time that we just spent in the church was one of the most intense energies that I've ever felt in any of these investigations. It was just intense. It was not scary. It was just there. It was like you can feel like going to church and being in this place for such a long time. Every Sunday you go to this church, you imprint the same energy, you think the same thoughts, you pray, and you try to connect with this spirit. That really stains the environment. And it's the original church. It's the church that these people have been going to this whole time. I don't know. It's just weird seeing all these people that died and they're buried right here in this peaceful area, and they went to church right there and they died and were buried right here, so their whole life is centralized in this area. If they left any energy in this world stained on some environment, it would be right here in this circle of land. Square.
I mean, it's an interesting thought and all that, but yeah,
so
nothing.
Yeah, creepy.
At least if there is any energy there, that's kind of like big energy. It doesn't seem to be interested in showing itself.
See if I can tap into that.
Which again,
I guess call it a night on this one.
The entity that we have here, I'm not entirely surprised. It doesn't seem to want to be regularly noticed. It's just kind of here, and sporadically you might notice it. Nana's house. Big old moon up in there.
Strangely enough, years and years before I began my career as a paranormal investigator, I filmed a spoof of ghost adventures at my grandmother's farm entitled Ghost on the Farm. It's pretty bizarre to see myself so young acting exactly how I would go on to act later in my professional life. Here are a few clips from this video. Enjoy this. I think it's pretty funny.
Hi, now I'm going to investigate this room here.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of the rooms where the
Such a
specter
tiny
has
little
been reported
munchkin.
to have been sighted. All the... You just caught that, right? That wasn't me. Already, first minute, and we're still got some good evidence. I've set up an automatic heat camera to take pictures of me about every 20 seconds. Ghost, you know you're here. Please, give me a sign, if you can. You just caught that, right? I mean, can you knock again if that was you? We have a ghost here, people. We have a ghost. Whoa! What was that? Whoa! I am getting free. You just heard that, right? I'm the only one in this house.
No, you're not.
Amazingly, only seconds after we heard these voices, we captured the image of a specter in the window above my head. Thanks.
Mary and I found ourselves back at my grandmother's farm attempting to find some answers as to why my family seems to attract so many spirits. It was time to investigate the farm.
I'll go investigate Grandma's farm. Have a little poke around.
So we've been sitting here for a little while, trying to feel the energy of the house. We have to talk quietly because we had Nona, my grandmother, stay in the house and sleep to see if her presence would bring
Would still bring something, yeah.
spirits and or people that were familiar with her that have died. But so far we found nothing and really had no experiences, but we've been here a while just kind of sitting around, and we're gonna head to the basement and ask a few questions before I head outside for the night. Notice place is such a familiar smell. No readings on the EMF. Let's go check this room out.
Ma, watch where you're walking.
Are you filming? Yeah. Point 3. Oh, did you get that on camera? There's a point 3 right here, right when I open the door to the basement. That was actually kind of weird. Yeah, I was not expecting that. So, a lot of people who aren't from regions that get cold have never really been to a real basement, and Nona's basement has always been kind of creepy. And there are a ton of different artifacts down there from different people who, a lot of whom have died by now. So if there's going to be some sort of an energy attached to stuff, a lot of that stuff's going to be in the basement. So we're going to go check it out. Point 1, point 5, point 4.
Hello. The camera was closer than that before, and it was not spiking that high.
Didn't do that at all.
0. No,
Weird.
we do that
They're
all
just
night
randomly zeros.
in the high school that we were at. Let's see if it's something to it before. Nope. No wires down here. How about up here? Could it be something up here? Nope. Oh, that was weird.
That was weird.
That was
Grandpa
definitely
Norman.
a spike, and then there's nothing around.
Anybody else?
Because the spike
that
wouldn't
could be
just spike and go.
here at the farm?
A spike would be centered around an area that's
Can
constantly
you please
producing
make
that
your
kind of
presence
energy.
known if you're here with us?
I mean, that's how I know how that works, because I remember when I first started watching ghost hunting back in the day on Ghost Hunters. That's actually how they sussed out that actually what people were seeing might have been actually illusions caused by unusual amount of electrical energy in the area, because apparently there was a big leak in the wiring in one building. And so while maybe it was powering the supernatural as well, it was also causing some people who were hypersensitive to it to possibly see things that weren't there. And they were basically like, yeah, just get this fixed up. If you're still having lots of weird stuff going on, by all means call us up and we'll have another look around and see what we find. And that's how I know how those readers work, how those MELs work, and how EMF detectors work. But yeah, it should have stayed like constant. If nothing else, get stronger as it got close to wherever the leak was. The fact that it was there and then gone, that's not right. That's not normal.
This basement is also filled with a lot of creepy stuff that might influence your mentality if you come down here. But right now, I'm just not really feeling any sort of energy in the house. Point one, though, right when I said that.
Oh, that's weird.
Right when I said that there was nothing. Point one. Point two.
Oh,
0.
spike again. Random spike again.
Interesting.
Someone might be with us.
Something
Point one
might be down
again.
there.
0. Right when I said that. Is there anybody back here? Point one. Right again. Maybe they're back here.
Not sure you are.
Is this one of the Ericksons?
Dad, are you here?
Point one. Right when he said dad.
Norman? Are you with Collin and I?
Norman, are you here? Do you have something to say to us, or Nona?
All of a sudden, the audio in this clip just drops out. This never happens to us when we film. Strangely enough, right as the audio drops, we seem to capture an orb on camera fly by on the bottom right side of the screen. Was this paranormal? You watch and decide.
Norman, are you here? Do you have something to say to us, or Nona?
Oh, yeah. A little something there.
Well, that was weird.
Hard to say, though. It could have been
I always
a
felt
dust
like it
and a
was
coincidence, but
Norman then. Oh, right when I said Norman again. It keeps coming
unusual.
back.
We're standing by his dark room.
This is his dark room right here?
Where he used to
Norman.
develop his pictures.
Look it. Norman, is this your dark room right here?
Ooh. I went up to 4.
Oh. That's crazy. So this is his dark room? I'm telling you, it's not like intelligent energy. It's like some sort of like dormant energy.
Like residual?
Residual, yes. Look at that.
And then grandma stores some stuff. Really?
Norman, are you in here with all of your old equipment? I'd love to meet you. It's 666.
Oh, weird.
No matter what, I love you, Norman. Thanks for coming through if that was you. Oh, weird. Point 3, right when I gave it to you? Point 4, point 3, 0, right when I handed it to Mary. Norman was your dad that we think we might have contacted.
Yeah.
It was kind of cold right here, actually, just now.
Very cold right here.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's
It's like
point
right
one.
here. Point 1.
And then went back to 0.
Just feels like, it felt really cold for a second. Kind of just got better. Let me just get a couple of these things on camera. I really just wanted to get this thing right here.
Oh, that's creepy. And look at the right below it.
Not creepy at all. Oh, this is normal stuff.
Were people that much shorter?
I guess.
I wonder some days.
All of the items downstairs tell a story of their own. These are pieces of history that have accrued over generations and tell the story of my mother's side of the family. These items reach from the humble beginnings of the pioneers who settled this very land all the way through the present day, and I 100% believe that the fact that they are piled up in the basement of my grandmother's farmhouse is contributing to the intense energy and haunting that the property holds.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
So, Mary and I have been down here for a while now. I'm trying to read the energy. Felt some weird stuff come through kind of in the back area, back where Norman, my grandfather who passed away a while ago, back where his dark room is. Maybe he came through.
Yeah.
He's the one that I've always felt comes through in the house because he lived here his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
He's buried literally right down the road, so if there's somewhere to come back to, it's right here. Now, Mary's gonna go to bed. I'm gonna head out alone to just check out the rest of the farm grounds and see if I can feel any other energy or hear anything, and kind of put a close on investigating the farmhouse. But I'm gonna go do that now, and we'll see.
What was this?
Looks like the stairway from The Conjuring in the darkness. Well, as you can see, the farm is right there. That's the actual farmhouse. It's behind me. And I'm now alone walking out on the grounds. Here's the building that's always kind of creeped me out. It's the garage. There's the farmhouse right there through the tree. And there's the moon above it. So over here's the old slide. All the kids used to play. Here's the old destroyed teeter-totter. It's crazy to think about how fast time flies. Even me being a kid and coming out here. It's crazy. It is so calm out here. It's incredible. There's something big moving around back there. Hello?
Gosh dang it, fly get out of my face.
There's so many damn bugs. Oh, I just saw a light in the trees. What the hell was that? So many bugs. Hello?
Dude, not too loud here.
That's odd. There's
So
no more
letting
animal
people
noises
sleep.
after that.
Oh, you came at
from
the
right
animals
here.
yelling.
Turn on. I would have seen and heard it run away if it was really right here. This is exactly where it came from.
I suppose that's a little bit true too.
Well, that was just odd. Yeah, so I'm basically out just in the enchanted forest area. Well, that was weird. Sounded like an animal moving around back there. Called out to it right away and tried to get it to respond or at least run away. And no noise. And I went back and looked the exact area where I heard it. I've been here a million times. I know exactly where noise comes from. And there's nothing there. Not saying that's paranormal. Just saying that's just kind of weird. At this point, I've been out here around 45 minutes by myself. And apart from hearing those weird noises in the woods right when I called out and everything, it's silent. But I shouldn't say that it's silent because there's an energy to this whole property, which is why I wanted to make this video. I was hoping that it would manifest in some way, but it just didn't. And you know, folks, I can't bring you this feeling. I can't take what I'm feeling here and put it on
Something
the
doesn't want to
screen.
make itself
It just
known.
it doesn't
have to
happen,
make
and that's
itself
what I
known.
hate
It's,
about making paranormal videos
just
is
continues
that
on the way it is,
half
and
to 3/4
not
of the
really
experience
influencing much of anything,
is
just
in
doing the
person.
same thing it
It's
always
not
does.
able to be captured. You can't capture it on camera.
Looking over
How you
things
feel
and
and
maybe
what
occasionally
happens
interacting
and
with
the
the
things
things
that go
around
through
it.
your mind. All these buildings have been here for such a long time. They've seen multiple families raised and sent off into the world, and each person that's been here has left their mark. There are just so many objects around that have had so much meaning to people. You know, a wagon out back that pioneers used to get here, a tree stump from my grandmother's honeymoon, old cars in the shop, my grandpa's old motorcycle in the garage. So much stuff, and all of those items have energy attached to them. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night and head to bed. I love you guys.
Da-da-da-da-da. Average day.
When the sun comes out on the farm, you can't help but feel at peace. It's like nature is talking to you. The birds sound happier, the insects don't really bother you, and the sunlight feels warmer. There is a really great energy there at my grandmother's farm, and it is an energy that has fed generations of my family and a feeling that one can just sit and bask in. To end our exploration of this history and haunting, we headed out with Nona to some old spots in the immediate area that hold deep personal meaning to her, including the gravesite of my grandfather Norman.
I'm still waiting to see what this is all going to add up to. It doesn't seem like they got much of anything out there, at least at the moment.
Sioux Falls in Texas had to come to North Dakota and clean off that stone. That's really bad.
I know. It was the whole thing was covered in dirt yesterday when I came.
Something has been doing that, because look at all the dirt piles. Some animal.
Oh, Norman.
Your grandpa.
That would have been 2018 years ago. That's crazy. Time flies.
Yeah.
So how long did you guys go to the church for?
Been in this church for 72 years since our
since you were married, so 72?
72.
That's crazy. And have
Doesn't seem possible.
no families that become, are they like dwindling down a lot?
Yes, very much so. There's only 4 or 5 families left.
How many people would come in like the 40s and 50s?
Probably 50 to 75.
Every Sunday?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's all.
The church would have been full.
How many people is that? Like 12, 15?
15 on a Sunday.
Wow. What do you think is going to happen to the church?
Well, eventually, I'm sure it will close. And right now, they're thinking about, adjusting the schedule so they could probably have one service for all the 3 churches that work together. But I don't know. I think that's down the road. Eventually, I'm sure it will close because there are fewer families now living on the farm than there was then.
Right here.
Farms are more like factories
So
these
here's
days.
the church, here's Norman's grave, and then the farm is in what direction? Can you point it?
Down the road here.
Pretty sure, I bet you a lot of that farmland she's already sold to a
It's
company
actually
that's
that.
already doing all that
The one
field
with
work.
the big pointed. What kind of tree is that? The really tall one.
I think it's an evergreen.
Because I always see that one. That's how I know that it's the farm.
Not sure about the really tall
You can
one,
tell
but
that my
the one
grandma
next to it is
misses
that
my
pine tree.
grandfather Norman. She never remarried, and after his death, she continued life as usual and has been one of the biggest influences in my life in the way that she has shown my entire family how strong of a woman that she is. This is a woman that fell down a flight of stairs, broke her hip, and crawled back up the flight of stairs to get help while she had a shattered hip. It's unbelievable. However, we still weren't done with my family's story, and we had a few spots to stop by before we headed back to South Dakota.
Say it one more time for him. This is one of the pioneer farms that were started out here. They belong to that church. And now
This was one of the first farms, and now it's completely abandoned. Everyone's gone.
It was an early farm too, but they've kind of kept it up better. And there are now people living on this farm. He was one of the pioneers.
It used to be like people living, you know, just think about there.
Yeah,
Like people, like, you know, so many families everywhere. Now there's hardly anybody. And the big farmers have kind of just taken over instead of so many small farmers.
Yes.
Not really the family farmers anymore.
Hardly.
It's crazy.
This was, one of the pioneer, but they got a kind of a newer house a few years back. You know what that was, a pioneer family. And this one up here that you're going to is original.
Kind of looks like his pickup's here. I don't know, that might be just an old
I think it's an old pickup because that's always been there. We always say the same thing.
I don't think he's here. Let's go.
Like if time passed. Seriously, that thing right there.
This was a farm that was used for a Sunday school picnic. Every June we would have a picnic here and a program. And the fellow that lived here was very accommodating and nice to the church people.
Yeah, it's just gone.
And so we would come and have a service in the morning, and the children would sing, and then we'd have a noon meal, and then in the afternoon we'd have all kinds of activities, games that they would play, and everybody had a good time. And then we'd go home and we'd come back in the evening and have a Lutheran League program and probably do some more games. And it was the highlight of the church to come here every year for our annual picnic.
God, it was the highlight. Everybody is like, the picnic is here. And this house was perfect. And he still lived here. And so we'd go and look in the windows and be like, oh my gosh, he still lives in here. None of this stuff was here. And that little house right there, isn't that where they would do the cooking?
Yes.
All the women would come, and men hopefully, and prepare the food. We'd eat there, and then they had the program in that big building. In between those trees back there, they had it was a wooden concession stand, and they had the cold bottles of pop in the ice water, candy bars, and you would get to go up there and buy treats, and it was the highlight when you got old enough to work in the concession stand. But it was you spent the entire day here, and it was so fun.
And back then, this whole property was not destroyed like it is now.
It was pristine.
It was perfect.
Yeah, there was nothing.
He took real pride in keeping his farm up. It looked like this.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Let's have some really fond memories here.
Everybody looked forward to the annual picnic, coming here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of sitting here, decaying, really, sadly.
Is it his, would it be his, not his grandson, but a relative owns it now? A young.
And they're not even around. Not even around to take care of it.
But if you could just go back and see, all the kids running around, the people, adults sitting around, the concession stand back there, and then they'd have some lights back there.
I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. Wow.
I know if you could find any pictures, that'd be super.
Yeah.
We'll have to try luck.
Anything else you guys want to say?
That's it.
Just storage now. Wow. Should we go upstairs? Because that's beautiful. We are inside the old farmhouse where the guy who owned this property used to live, and it just really shows how it's crazy that my mom and my grandma had such intense happy memories here when the house was pristine, and like look at it now, it's literally shambles. So you definitely gotta be careful over here. The door's sealed shut.
Just look at the place and it feels like it ought to be haunted. So depressing to see something that once was really nice to be in such a shape. Ugh. Empty. Run over. Abandoned and falling apart. Filled with trash. Rusted machines.
Is it a weird feeling having all these people that you kind of like knew leave?
It is kind of unreal, you know, to think that they're gone.
Yeah.
No more. So,
Yeah.
the oldest beautiful church.
It's the oldest living person from the church.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you got that going for you.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah. We're at the old big gallery, and that's what it was called years ago. It's a building here with a floor and a foundation. People would come here and dance at the outdoor gallery. Tickets were 10 cents a piece. There was always a ref, Dave, would come and kind of monitor and see what was going on. And, you know, there was always a little bit of drinking going on. So he would monitor and see where everybody was and what they were doing. And then eventually he would probably round up a few of the people that were a little bit inebriated. Sometimes he would handcuff them to that tree. And they would have to sit there and wait for whoever drove them there, ready to take them home again. The dance was over, and they would round up these guys that were tied up to the tree, and the family would bring them home.
And that was the tree that they tied them to.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was a big sturdy tree.
Yeah. But it was smaller at that time,
Yeah.
so we could get people actually handcuffed.
Yeah, could have actually gotten
Yeah,
handcuffed
that's
to
so
it at the
cool.
time, whereas
That's
this
a
might be a little
really
difficult these
firm
days.
reminder of stuff, the distant years. It's like, this is literally now only a tree and dirt.
Yeah.
And
We
nothing
used to
else
come and
remains.
dance and drink and celebrate, and now it's literally just
Field.
a dirt pile and a tree. Maybe these flowers are growing because of all the good energy that was here one time.
Could be.
I think we're good. There we go.
I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. A tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. I think I shall never see a poem. Stop it. Poem as lovely as a tree. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
That's very good.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Good.
I was mesmerized.
I know. When did you memorize that?
Well, we had it in language class when I was in like 7th and 8th grade. So it was in this
old school
poem
stuff.
book that we had in school. Joyce Kilmer.
I think I've heard
wrote
something
it,
at least
and
very
it's with
similar to
some
that
music,
before.
You know, and I have the piece. Yeah, we had to learn
Said Pastor
so
Jerome.
much poetry when we were in 7th and 8th grade. So that was one of my favorites.
And you've always loved trees.
Yes, I have.
After we had visited the tree, we had to say goodbye to my grandmother and we headed back to South Dakota. After hearing all these stories about the haunting of my ancestors, I couldn't help but think about the fact that maybe it's the blood that flows in my veins that holds something spiritual that helps connect my family with the afterlife. I guess it's something that I'll never fully understand.
Something in the earth or something in the blood. Maybe a combination of both. August. August 2019. Sussex Falls, South Dakota.
To really reach the bottom of why my family is so haunted, we had to return to Sioux Falls, to the house where I grew up, in order to gather my own family stories so that we could paint a full picture of the haunting that has plagued all of us from the moment we moved into this home. Let me tell you, this haunting never stopped, and I don't know if it ever will.
Okay, so my name is Collin Browen, obviously, and this is my story about my haunted house that I lived in throughout pretty much all of high school. We built the house ourselves, and I 100% believe it to be haunted by something. I just don't know what it is. So the story of our house really begins in it would have been 2012, 2013 when my parents started building the house. This whole area used to just be a lot. There were houses that we had to move off of this land. They were donated to charity. And I actually filmed in the basement of one of those houses. It was completely derelict. It hadn't been lived in for about a decade. I filmed a horror movie about a satanic cult. And funny enough, this was when no one was living in the house and the police knew this. We were shooting a scene with a cult in the basement of the house, and we spray painted the walls with fake blood and made a huge pentagram on the wall. And the police actually thought that the people that were acting in the movie were a real cult, and they entered the house.
I had to explain ourselves.
And took all my satanic paraphernalia. And I came in the next day and I was like, damn, did I just forget that I brought that home, or what happened to all my stuff? And we're like, oh, it's probably at the house. And it wasn't. And there's a cop outside of the house, and my mom and dad asked, like, why are you guys here? What are you doing? And they're like, brace yourselves. We're about to tell you something crazy. We believe that there's a satanic cult practicing black magic in that house right there. And they started laughing, and we're like, dude, that's our son, Collin. He's just making a horror film. And then they started laughing, and we had to go down to the actual county jail, or wherever they were keeping it, the corrections area. And we had to get the boxes of stuff that they took, and it was like a dagger, a demon baby, all this stuff. So there's already like this whole satanic element in this abandoned house next door that got moved. But when we moved into the house, it was completely empty. It was, brand new. All the materials were new. There was some repurposed stuff, but overall, it was just, there was no history to the house. It was basically a skeleton that had no family and no history yet. So when we moved in, didn't expect anything too crazy to happen.
I have to wonder what the repurposed stuff was then. Like, where'd that come from and where'd that go to?
The spirits to come, home with us. So my sister, as you probably heard at this point in the documentary, she had her first major experience on the very first day that we were moving in. As the first time she was in the house, and she heard the men's voices and the dishes moving in the kitchen. And I was with my parents, and we came back, and she was freaking out, and we all just thought, man, was she, just having some sort of a mental issue, or was there something else going on here?
Having some sort of,
we didn't really
was she just having some sort of nervous break all of a sudden because of the stress of moving, or what the deal was?
As time went on, I started to realize that I didn't feel fully comfortable in the house, which was strange because it was a brand new home, as I've said already, and it should have felt, like home, like a new adventure. But night after night, I was having these nightmares in my room where I was sleeping at the end of the hall. So you also got to realize the structure of the house. So at the end of this hallway over here, kind of what I'm looking at from where I'm being interviewed, is the hallway, and that's kind of the area where all of the paranormal activity seems to stem from in the house. And it's a hallway that branches off in a T-shape to my sister's room and my room. And it's in this area, it seems to be a vortex of this activity that kept happening. So when I was down there at the beginning, I just thought it was, my room and whatnot. But as I started to put my decorations up and spend every night there, I started to realize that something felt off about the room. Just being in there, it felt much darker than other rooms in the house straight off the bat. And a couple weeks in, I had my first real crazy experience. Tessa had been telling me from across the hall that she was hearing voices and footsteps in the hallway at night. And I had heard, little noises, like maybe a knock or two, but I just assumed that was part of a new house, growing into what it would become. But this one night, I specifically remember, and I've told this story before in interviews, but it just still blows my mind. I was in my bedroom asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I heard someone out in the kitchen, which is weird because that's where Tessa heard these noises before, and I just yelled out. I said, "Mom, is that you out there?" And I heard someone actually respond to me, a female voice, that said, "Yeah." Like something like, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was like a sentence or a couple words. And so I was like, "Can I have a glass of water?" And it once again said, "Yeah," some shit like that. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was saying yes. And I heard footsteps immediately from the kitchen walk over to my bedroom, and I'm thinking, damn, like, I didn't even get the glass of water. Why is she walking over here? It's weird. And the moment that these footsteps got to my bedroom door, it transformed from human footsteps into the sound of something shuffling on all fours around my bed in a big circle like this, like scratching on the carpet, which was obviously really scary. And I hopped, literally the moment that I heard that, hopped up and I grabbed my phone like, Mom, like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell? I turned my flashlight on, there's no one there. And my sister, Tessa, and my mom ran out of her room across the hall instantly into my room and said, "What's going on? Why are you being so loud?" And they had both been asleep that entire time, and those are the only two women in the house. So that was definitely a really creepy experience, and that was the first time that I really, started to get spooked out. But it only got worse from there. I started to see shadow figures in the room, very tall, one or two at a time. Always, I'd be looking through my blinds and I could see the moon coming through and the light from the moon, and I could always see these figures. And this one time I saw the figure literally clear as day standing right there in front of my blinds, and I'm like, I'm so skeptical about some of this stuff that it's like, in my mind rationally I was like, there's no way this can be happening. That's not a shadow figure or person standing there. But I just remember it's when you think about like a horror movie and you say like, why aren't you screaming right now? You're about to be killed. Or like you're trying to judge a character based on what they're doing when they're supposed to be extremely frightened. Having an experience like that in real life really shows you that your mind does not act rationally when these things happen to you. For example, when I saw that shadow figure, I'm sitting there in bed, like laying back, and this thing actually, for the first time that night, started walking, well not walking, like gliding towards my bed at a very slow pace. And I'm sitting there staring at it, watching it get bigger and bigger as it's like coming towards me. And I'm thinking like, dude, I need to turn the light on, But I was so afraid that I couldn't move any part of my body. And it just kept getting closer and closer, and like I finally just snapped out of it, and I reached and I turned my lamp on and it disappeared. So that was like, once again, these things kept happening night after night, and my sister Tessa and I were telling my parents, like, dude, there's something going on here, and they didn't believe us. It was like a horror movie where the characters are, saying, "Oh man, like I'm hearing and seeing this stuff," and the parents or someone's like, "Oh no, you're just seeing things, blah blah blah." But then eventually it happened to them, and after they had their experiences, we finally thought it was time to talk to Donna. And Donna is the family friend psychic. She's been in a lot of episodes of the show. So my mom and I went to get a reading from her one day, and without us even bringing up the house, she said, "I think you have 2 male figures in your house." And that was really creepy because we hadn't told her anything about what we had been experiencing. And so my mom and I ended up that day going down to the courthouse in Sioux Falls, like we did in the Lost Graves episode. We went down there, and my mom and I went upstairs and talked to the historians there at the courthouse and asked them if we could see the city records and the planning spreadsheets for the city from back in what would have been the 1800s, when there were pioneers and people living on, small ranches and homesteads out here. And they found a building that was on the property. It was an old house, a log cabin, most likely owned by a family. And we actually found the names of the family members. And strangely enough, this is what was so bizarre to us. In this family, there was a mom, a daughter, a father, and a son. Now, the mother and the daughter had birth, death, and burial records that they knew at the courthouse where they were buried, but the father and son only had the birth records. So these historians there at the courthouse theorized that the father and the son were potentially buried somewhere on our land and had been there for a long time because they didn't know where they were buried. Maybe they had gotten a
So they might still
or
be
something
around.
like that, and before a cemetery was established, they had actually just been buried somewhere around here. And there's also this history of Native American encampments we're right along the river, so there were camps made by Native Americans, and they said that there was potential that the house was built on artifacts, that it could have, dug through stuff like that, and they could have accidentally destroyed something like that. Potentially even, they didn't think that they could have destroyed a body, but they could have if they dug through it, and that these construction companies just want to get through with the projects and get the money. So that was really strange to us, and this all culminated with this activity getting worse and worse. Me seeing these shadow figures, hearing voices, footsteps. I'm talking like a horror movie level of activity. My sister and I were like at our wits' end. And the day before my birthday, we had Donna and 3 of her psychic medium friends that she works with come over, and we walked room through the entire house. She cleansed the home, and we thought that it was all over after that. Well, that night our internet went out, our electricity went out for a while, and it was my birthday, so I had friends over. And at about 2, 3 in the morning, we were all downstairs asleep. We heard this massive just bang on the window, like super loud. It shook the whole house. My parents came running downstairs, like, what the hell happened? Like, you guys okay? And none of us knew what it was. It was snowing out. And we looked for a bird to see if a bird had hit any of the windows. There's no bird, there's no animal, there's no tracks. That's why I said it was snowing, because we could see if there's tracks or if a bird had hit the window and died. There's nothing. It was all fresh snow. And so the next day we were at a restaurant here in Sioux Falls, and we go into the restaurant, and the only people in this entire place, like literally the only people eating there, were the psychics from the day before, Donna and her friends, and they were eating there. And we're like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, great to see you. And before we could say anything to them, Donna asked me, did you guys have a bang on your window around 2 or 3 in the morning? And like all of our faces just dropped. We're like, yeah, we did. And she just looked at us and said, we all had the same thing happen. That's why we're here talking about it. We thought that maybe that was the energy releasing or giving us a sign that it was leaving, but it happened to all of us, and we were freaked out. And it's crazy that you showed up here and said that happened to you, because that just correlates everything.
I think when we realized that both Collin and Tessa were feeling uncomfortable in the house, and
that is quite wild.
Everybody just was kind of on edge. The kids didn't want to be in the house alone, and it was affecting both of them, losing sleep, having to get up for school. And Donna's always been a friend of our family, and so Collin and I had just an appointment with Donna, and then that's when she started to tell us about the history and that there were 2 male presents in the house. Presences.
Spirits? I don't know.
Which totally freaked us out.
So we ended up having Donna come over and
the presence of 2 males.
I guess cleanse the house and help us work through what spirits were here based on the land that we built the house on, and not really the house itself. And in the end, it just felt like she did cleanse the house. It felt lighter and just, like there wasn't really anything here after that, So that's kind of what I remember, is that just it felt light and cheery to me, I guess would be maybe a word, instead of kind of gloomy or dark.
It had gotten a lot better, and we really didn't have any activity for maybe a couple months, but maybe up to about a year. And then slowly things started to happen again.
So, after it got cleansed, can you talk about how you felt?
I guess when Donna came and cleansed our house, I was very scared and nervous because she said a lot of the activity was happening in my room, in Collin's room. So I felt kind of relieved that she said they were harmless spirits, but I guess from then after the activity kind of lessened and we didn't see or hear that much a whole lot after, so I think she would probably helped in the long run, but we still hear stuff from time to time, so it's still happening. But even more recently, me and my best friend were staying in my basement, and it was really late at night. I'd say well into 2 a.m. And we were just watching TV, hanging out, and it was pitch dark all around the house and no lights were on. And basically we just heard a dragging on the floor. It sounded like someone or something was being dragged across the floor. And so we both just kind of paused the movie and stopped and looked at each other, and we were really freaked out. And it lasted for about 30 seconds, and so we got really creeped out and yelled to see if anyone was there, if my dad was being stupid or anything, and no one was there. So we got super freaked out and obviously went upstairs and slept, but there's been several times where we've heard dragging across the floor and footsteps, so pretty creepy.
Even recently, you've found some nights it's kind of hard to stay in your room.
Yeah, even recently, I've heard different footsteps in the kitchen. There's always something happening in this house, and there's always activity. When it comes to the spirits, I'd say that I've never felt in danger when it comes to my experiences with them, but I don't think that they're here to harm us or disturb us in any ways, so yeah, I guess
startles the hell
they're
out of you.
good,
But you still think it's freaky in the house?
Yeah, but I'm still very freaked out by what I've experienced in this house, and I'm definitely okay with moving.
And you don't like being in here alone?
No, I will not stay in here alone, and at nighttime it's very creepy.
We really didn't have any activity for maybe a couple months, but maybe up to about a year. And then slowly things started to happen again. And Jeff and I were in the bedroom one day just talking, and we were in our closet. We have a walk-in closet, and all of a sudden we had just a plastic glass on our nightstand, and that came off the nightstand and flew across the bathroom floor. And we thought Tessa was in the house.
It's rolled
Yeah,
across.
and it was just
Someone threw it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it fell because we've got carpet in there. It was something had to actually throw it, because then it went rolling across and hit the wall. So that was totally freaky. And then just started to hear, we'd be watching TV downstairs and footsteps, and so we'd always stop whatever we're watching and ask, if Jeff's home or is Tessa home, and never have anybody home.
I quieted down for a while after we got the house cleansed, but when I was coming home from college then, the next couple summers, my friends and I, we would go out back and do Ouija board sessions all the time. That was what we did for fun. We weren't filming it, we were recording it, we were just interested in the paranormal. And a couple of these times we had very extreme experiences. We did homemade Ouija boards. This one time we actually, I can't remember the word because it was so long ago, but we got a word that just seemed so odd that we had to look it up. And it had actually spelled out a name in Sioux, Lakota Sioux, in Native American, in the language they speak. And it was, it meant something warrior. It was so weird. It was like a very specific
Very
name.
strange, very specific too, yeah.
And word in their language. And we're like, oh my God, that's really freaky. And we kept talking to it, and what it seemed like it was saying was that it was a Lakota Sioux warrior who had died in battle. or potentially lived in the area, which makes sense with the Native American camps thing that we had heard earlier
Near
at
the
the
river.
courthouse. And this was so trippy that night. Everyone got freaked out because we had a candle. We asked it to blow out the candle, and like the flame literally went from this, just shrunk down and then snuffed out. And I was with Nick, who's been on the show, and a couple other friends of ours, and he got really freaked out because it was the first time we had done a Ouija board that really worked like that.
I wish you could see my hand
And
gestures
he was like,
with
I
this
need to
model.
quit, so we
I
closed
really
the
do need to
circle
get
and
a new model
whatnot.
eventually here.
And still, this is probably one of my favorite paranormal experiences I've ever had, if not like the clearest thing to me. But I was sitting in my room, once again at the end of the hallway, and I had locked my door, and I'm sitting there on my phone trying to go to bed. It was about 3 in the morning. I was just freaked out by what happened. And my lamp next to my bed just went out like that, like it was on, and it just shut off, and I was in the pitch black. I'm like, okay, that's really freaky, what the hell? And I turned my light on my phone, and I just expected the lamp to be out, like the bulb burned out or something. So I went and I flipped the switch on the lamp, on, off, on, off, on, off. And I realized that it wasn't an issue with the lamp, because I looked down on the ground and the actual plug to plug into the wall had been yanked out of the wall, and it was like this far from the lamp. It had not just fallen onto the ground, it had been violently pulled out.
Something
Like I
violently
said, my
pulled it
door
in,
was
there was
locked.
no one in that room.
And I took a photo of it, and it's way back in my memories. But it's like that kind of stuff, it's like personal experiences that you're not filming. It's stuff that I have never filmed for the show. I couldn't have filmed because it just happened, but it was so strikingly real.
Yeah, when I had my big experience, there was like,
it's like one of
I
those
think
things
cell
that
phones had
convinced me
just
of,
barely become a
the
thing.
existence of this stuff, because it's very real.
It wasn't even another year or
But
two before
haven't
I
been in the house as much as
would even
everyone
get to
else
touch a
has,
cell
because
phone on
I've
a
been
regular
off in
basis, and it
college.
would still be like another
But,
4 before I had my
just
own.
Every time that I come back, it seems like more stuff happens. Like the last time we were here, my parents called me, and Jeff had his experience where something ran at him across this floor right here, and they were hearing voices. And all throughout my time, when I've been living in Austin, they've called me probably 100, 200 times just to tell me stories about something that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I had, just a number of knocks and bangs and, things that I'd be watching TV downstairs and like a glass fell on the floor, and there'd never be anything up here when I come up and look. Recently I had, when Mary and Tessa were gone, I was sleeping in the master bedroom back here, and it literally sounded like somebody was running from the hallway to my room, like just literally. It got louder and stopped at my door, and I thought there was actually someone in the house when, as I told you, I got up and got actually a handgun that I never ever have done before, and I had to go around the whole house. I thought someone was in the house, and then I think you were gone maybe 2 or 3 days, and I actually, slept with a handgun on the nightstand next to me, which I've never done before.
Okay, so this is what you had that night?
This is it.
You were packing.
Yeah, 9mm Glock. Usually I keep it in my gun safe, so I just slept. Right here. Sleep in. Had the door closed. Came up to there. I got up, stopped, I went right in there and grabbed it, and then I came back out. The door was like this, pitch black. I just kind of opened the door. That's kind of what I did all the way through the house.
Crazy, was that real?
Yeah.
Had a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then it was a couple more nights.
That had to drove him up.
Because you were all
pretty
over.
harsh, like
Weren't you hearing banging
that
outside
suddenly
the window
jumpy.
too?
Yeah, I heard some bangs outside the window, on that window, actually.
Almost like there was someone outside, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, but, well, kind of like someone, I would say someone maybe throwing something at the window instead of like, banging on the window.
Creepy.
Yeah. So that was very, very weird. And I called these guys each day to kind of give you an update, like, because I'd hear more noises. And
very
I just
strange.
you just kind of got used to just ignoring them, you know. But lots of, lights and shadows and noises.
We had I was going down by Tessa's bedroom just to put clothes away too, and I heard the men's voices were back, and I thought that they were probably building the house next door, and so I thought they must be construction guys. So I just went and looked out Tessa's bathroom window, which is right next to on that side of the house. There wasn't anybody around, and so, but I could clearly hear men talking, and it is
that's
in
one of my
area
more
that she
recent
would
experiences
hear
too. Is that I
close to
heard a
her
voice
closet, so.
come at me and laugh. I suddenly woke up hearing that, turned in the direction where I swore I heard it from, which was the hallway. No one there, and no one was home for at least a couple more hours. Quickly checked outside, which occasionally I have heard voices from outside by my bedroom window. And, well, actually, not my office window. I'm slowly integrating my bedroom into another room, and but I looked out the window where I normally would hear people from, and there was nobody out there.
You know, even a TV will go on, or
and that's what kind of spiked me to test out the ghost box apps.
You kind of live with that and think it's just spirits that are here. You know?
Hello, I'm Jackson
Spirit
Dice,
box apps, I should say.
I'm Collin's friend from when we were a wee bit young, and I've been in this house ever since they first got it, really. And I don't know, the biggest thing that I noticed when I first got here is that the whole back area, it's like only a bit of it is actually concrete and living area, and the rest of it is just trees and just looking out into like the abyss of nothing. Every once in a while we'll go and we'll like hot tub outside and we'll just chill out there during the night with some friends, and I've always thought it's just a bit eerie out there, and it's never been comforting. It's definitely not just something like, I don't know, especially super late at night is when we're normally hanging out, and that is just kind of adds to the effects. I've slept over here multiple times in high school and sometimes in middle school, and the guest bedroom downstairs is just always just super creepy to me because everyone is upstairs and I'm the only one downstairs.
It's different.
It's different, yeah. I've been around, we've done a lot of Ouija boards around here, and we've gone out to different burial sites like Gitche Manitude, which is a place that we used to go and it's known to be haunted in the Sioux Falls area. And coming back, I feel like something always gets brought back with us, and I feel like it's never it just doesn't feel normal. Especially like with Collin, like even just being around him, that's probably one of the biggest things is like he goes on all these investigations and stuff, and it's like he's bringing all these spirits behind him, and now they're just like gonna attach onto me and like murder me at night while they're
I don't know about the bedroom part, my dude, but it does make you feel uneasy, like you're something watching.
Maybe I have something that is attached to me that I bring along with me, and it pisses whatever is here off. I have no explanation because I don't understand how this stuff works. I'm not going to pretend to know how it works, but it's definitely some sort of an energy because it constantly manifests. Even some of my friends used to not want to even step foot in the basement because they thought it was too creepy. I've had people come up to my room in the middle of the night from the basement and knock on my door and ask if they can sleep in my room with me because they were hearing noises. In my room I have all these weird relics from travels. I have like cemetery dirt from Salem that I collected, a bunch of twigs from Sleepy Hollow, this devil mask from Mexico that the guy that I bought the mask from said was haunted. I have these masks from Puerto Rico that supposedly ward off evil spirits, and that the list just goes on, all this memorabilia and weird stuff. So I feel like that also could be drawing the energy in to that part of the house just because there's all these weird macabre relics. I just had so many things happen in the room, just hearing the voices, and even sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see a glowing white light above my door where I had the devil mask that's supposedly haunted, where that thing was hanging. I kept seeing this white glowing light, and I didn't have my contacts on, so I couldn't really see, but it was there, and I could just see it glowing and glowing, and I'd turn my lamp on, it would go away, and I'd turn it back off, and it would be there. But at the end of the day, I don't know what's in the house, but it's always followed me. The question has always haunted me of who or what is here and why won't they leave? Like, what do they want? But to me, it's always been a mixture of interesting and like not scary and like really scary activity. Because there have been times when we've been in this house when I've wanted to leave because the paranormal activity has been way too intense and way too frightening. And every person in my family will tell you that because we've all been scared shitless by whatever lives inside this house with us. But what can you do? There's not really, much more to my side of the story. There's just countless incidents, but it's hard to remember them all because they all blend together. But yeah, that's my, I guess, quarter of the family haunting story.
Do you have anything else that's happened when I was in college? I know you've had a lot more.
It just always seemed like it would get more active when you came home. Like it would not be as much. Once in a while we would call you and say, like, that glass fell, or you think you hear something fall in the laundry room. But it always seemed to pick up. So I think you might bring something into the house.
You might have an energy attached to you, my man.
But you still enjoyed your time here.
Yes, I love this house.
Yeah.
I never felt scared, or I would be a little bit scared, but it's a beautiful house, beautiful area. We've got a beautiful view, and we had a lot of happy memories here.
Yeah.
But it's still haunted.
It's still something.
Even when he's gone, there's still something here. Eventually, it makes itself known.
There are stories that we had to leave out for time, but at this point, I think that you can tell that our house was extremely haunted.
Get the general
Maybe
gist
there are
of it,
some
yeah.
graves in the undeveloped woods next to our house, or some relics still in the dirt beneath it. That's something that we will never have a chance to dig into. I dug through my phone archives and managed to find a few old clips of paranormal activity happening, from TVs glitching to multiple nights where our house alarms alerted in the middle of the night as if someone had opened the front door.
Okay, I'm just sitting upstairs playing guitar, not even touching the remote. And I just did the spirit ceremony last night to invoke spirits. And I keep pausing the TV. And then I don't know how much longer, but in like a little bit it keeps coming unpaused. And both right there.
That's
I have no
unusually
idea
sudden.
how that's happening. Both my parents are outside. You can see my mom down there watering, and she's talking to my dad right now. I just came to turn my light on in here, and of course my light. Jesus Christ, the light just went out. Third alarms.
We had some really good times in our house. Animals would just come and die on our property. We found deer impaled on the gates around our house, rabbits mauled and decapitated left right at our front door by neighborhood cats, and even dead pets on the street.
Huh. Weird.
This should show you that there was definitely something strange about the property.
But things would keep either coming there to die or
That's why,
leaving
earlier
dead
this
things
year,
there.
we reunited the original group of psychics who originally cleansed our house, including my friend Donna O'Day, and had them return for another read of the home 5 years later.
Once again, August 2019. Seems to be a very popular month with this particular video.
Some physical discomfort. Quite a lot, actually. There's somebody here with us right now who had extreme nervous problems and sometimes would actually would just faint from that issue. It feels like a woman. She's been in this house probably for about a year. She's here for help. She's here for medical help. Do you sometimes hear like uneven walking? Do you hear sometimes strange sounds like that on the floor?
Mm-hmm.
That's her.
That's Mary in the other room saying yes.
Yes, it always sounds like people are walking.
She can't. I'm gonna have to hang on to something. No, it's okay. I'll just hang on to something. But oh God. Okay.
Interesting. So it's not just a man that's picking up here anymore either.
She's looking at me right now, and she's saying, "Well, I certainly hope you can help me." She said she's been long enough like this, and she said, "Now you know how I feel. Now you know how I shake." She said, "Nobody ever knew that. Nobody ever believed me when I was living."
A little angry?
Yeah, me. I didn't do anything to her. We're gonna have a little trouble helping her, I think. Do you ever have corn on the cob?
Jeff? Yeah, you have a lot of corn.
Corn on the cob? Okay. And you cook it here? In your kitchen? But you haven't had any recently? Well, how long do you expect her to wait? She's waiting for corn on the cob.
Okay.
Yeah, she said it's
Very
bad
insistent
enough
on
nobody
some
can see
strange
me, nobody
things.
pays any attention to me. I go like this, nobody pays any attention to me, and she said, here I am shaking and shaking, and all I want is corn on the cob.
Does it feel like someone who's attached to the house or to one of us?
She's been here for about a year. Did you visit some farmland about a year ago?
Almost a year ago, we went to Edinburgh Manor in Iowa, which is an old poor farm, which are housed mentally unstable patients.
That's where you got her.
What Donna says here is extremely strange because just last year we visited the notorious Edinburgh Manor in Iowa, an abandoned poor farm and mental institution. The property around Edinburgh Manor is 100% farmland, and to get to the building you have to drive 15 minutes through straight grass and crops.
I think I may have seen someone visit here. I'm not sure. Off the top of my head. I'd have to check out
It's
the list
crazy that she was
if I
able to
did
pinpoint
recently.
this location as a possible source of her haunting.
Okay, she followed you. She followed you home.
And that's what I've always felt a lot of the spirits have been people that have been with us when we've been in these places and have come back and they like the house.
Well, she thought she was going to get some medical attention finally, she says. Finally, because nobody would listen to her. And then she said, and then you can't hear me. You can't see me. Mostly right now, I think she just wants to gripe.
She sounds like a very bitter, angry little old lady.
She's here. She's in this room. Oh, she's transferring those feelings to me again. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, now she's starting to cry. And she's saying, I don't mean to hurt people. I don't mean to scare people. She said, all I want is help. Can you help me? I think we can, but she'll have to listen to us.
And it might not be the kind of help she's looking for.
She'll have to do what we say. She's pointing at you, Collin. And she's saying, you should know. You should know. She goes, I mean, she went from sympathy and quiet to now she's angry again. You should know what to do. You should know what to do. She's kind of nasty. Okay. She's mad at all of us. Wow. This is at me now. She said, you're the big fat expert. Why don't you do something? Holy mackerel, what are we going to do with her?
What can we do? Does anyone else feel really hot? Or is it temperate in here?
I was, but I'm not so hot now.
Because I'm like sweating this whole time since I came in the house. I'm like just covered in sweat for some reason.
Okay. Well, I think what we should do is we should all form a circle.
Okay.
And put her in the middle. I'm going to keep hanging on to this.
Well, it might as well. You're the one getting blasted by it at the moment.
Bertha or Beatrice? A name like that?
You have a grandma, Bertha?
Bertha? Mm-hmm. Okay, she's coming in to help us. I hope she's up for this.
She's got quite the angry old lady to deal with.
There's somebody named Walter coming in. Walter? He's here to help. And they're talking to her. This is difficult because she is not sane. Okay, then there's a little dog that this is not a big dog, this is a little dog, like a wire hair. He doesn't need to be groomed, but he's bouncing around in here. Does anybody recognize Coco?
What the? He's dead too.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
That's Coco. Okay, I am covered with chills and aches.
Same. Whoa.
It feels better compared to what I've been through.
I'm feeling really hot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah? Sweaty. So sweaty.
We got it. Okay, sorry. She's going like this, and so is your grandma. Oh. She's like, oh, nonsense.
I never knew her, but I believe her.
She's saying something to this woman. She's talking to her privately. The rest of us don't have to hear that. It's privately. Okay, whatever she said, she's responding to that. And this woman who's here, who's asking for our help, who wants our help, who doesn't want our help, we can help her to understand that if she goes to the light, that there's a lot more she'll know, that she'll be able to see around corners. Yeah. If she goes to the light, she won't have to scare people. She won't have to be angry. And she said, oh, I get it. And she's absolutely lighting up. And she said, I didn't understand this. I never understood this. She said, that's why I was sick in the first place. She said, life is not about yourself, getting for yourself. She said, life is about helping other people. That's what it's about. I missed that completely. She said, now I get it. And her whole demeanor has changed. she's saying thank you to all of us. And she's going with Grandma and Walter and Coco. She's going.
I've had something on my right leg this whole time. And like this, it's like all my hairs are standing. I got this white. I don't have anything here, I don't think, you know?
That must have been Coco.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You've got a fresh scratch right there.
It's like,
Of some sort.
like on my leg. Just like, my hair is like.
You didn't scratch yourself?
Unless.
My other leg.
My sister's dog.
See?
Nothing on there. Nothing on
It's
there.
completely clean.
Yep.
See my hair is standing
Well, you've got like, yeah, white scratches right
I feel
there.
like there's been like something on there.
I know.
Yeah, that's what you said at the beginning too. Wow.
Okay, well I think that's your problem. I brought my little Ovilus.
Oh, we have to use that. You know, this is so strange.
Ancient. This is ancient.
You want to know what's really odd though?
What?
Today, the episode we released, this is so bizarre, was the first time we've used an Ovilus since our last episode with you. I didn't ask her to bring that either.
No, I saw that too.
Really? We just released that today. It was supposed to be out yesterday, but we were traveling.
Yeah,
So-
we were going out the door and I just thought, hey, and I ran back in and got this.
Wow.
Yeah.
On a whim.
So, cool.
Yeah. Wow. Well.
Anything else, George?
No. I had goosebumps for now.
And if you
Barely
don't
get
feel
past
like
the
there's
front door and
anything,
you're just bombarded by
then
stuff, right?
You can just say that.
Well, I do though. And I think it's somebody from the Civil War. Does anybody collect old guns? Like old musket, or did anybody have anything like that?
My dad does.
Your dad does? Has a musket?
Yeah, I had an uncle that collected a huge gun collection.
Did he have like old,
Yeah, huge. I mean,
like the kind you would go?
yeah, like he had, you know, I think there would be like probably Civil War all the way.
Yeah.
But he would do
Okay,
like
this-
almost museum quality.
Okay, he's crossed over.
He is, yeah.
He's the one who's been here, and he's the one who chased you that night.
He was not a very nice guy.
Really?
I'm just like, my cousin. And who I just got, I've never seen him for like probably 30 years. I'd go out to their lake home and he'd have guns like every space you could be, there'd be guns. All the walls.
Yeah, it's him.
But he would beat,
Okay, you're anti-gun.
He would beat up, yeah, he would beat up the, like beat him. And I'd have to take him and he would be drinking, you know, all the time. He was mean. Yeah, I was afraid of him.
And he chased after Jeff then too, when you think about it, because none of us have ever had anybody run up on us.
Yeah.
Just now, you know, thinking about it.
It's him.
Whew. Yeah.
And we can really, you know, speak to him on his level and just tell him to get the hell out of here.
Yes, definitely. This is obviously
He can't hurt
affecting
you
Jeff in a
anymore.
bad way already, just thinking about the guy.
He absolutely cannot. He's like a puff of wind. And he knows that, and that's why he's so angry. He was power obsessed, and you're not like that at all. And yet, you're more powerful because you're not like that. It takes real strength to give up the guns and to give up the hate.
Yeah, I've always said that about my cousin. It's like, it's weird he would come up. He's actually on my phone from a couple days ago. I showed him a picture, and I haven't seen a picture of him forever.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and my other uncles and stuff, I've always said, you know, my dad died when I was 5.
Yeah.
And his mother died when he was like 5. And I said, well, you know, you made a big thing of your life, you know, you became an optometrist and made money, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of left him behind. you know. But his dad was mean, you know, and I always like sympathized with him, and I always kind of stood up for him. You know, like it's my got tons of cousins that were kind of against him, but I was always like, man, he had a hard life. I saw him beat up, you know, many times, and but yeah. Anyway, he was very protective of his guns. You know, like if you touched one or anything that had to be right, like, you know, you walk into a room and you move the thing a little bit, he would accuse us of doing that, you know, things like that. I just remember him, you beat him in the back and I'd grab him and we'd run, and
Oh boy.
so yeah, it's scary.
Oh, so yeah, so a lot of emotion generated there.
Oh.
Well, I don't think he'll bother you in this house anymore. And if you hear that again, because he is kind of ornery, tell him to get the hell out of here. He has to go. But I don't think you can be, now you really shouldn't be here. You know, you're going to have to talk to him on his level or he won't hear you.
Yeah, that's weird. I would get a gun too, you know. Like I'd never have ever done
Bet
that.
you never do that.
Never have done that.
Yeah, that night you got a gun.
Yeah, never have.
Yeah.
I've never had
Wow.
a gun out.
Do you have any bullets for it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't.
so do you know a Charles? It's here.
Goodbye, string.
String. Remember last time we were in here, Donna said she saw those strings coming down from the ceiling?
That's weird.
And yeah, that's really odd, isn't that?
And it says goodbye.
It was when she finally cleansed whatever was in the room. You said at the end you saw the strings
Yeah, they're.
coming down from the ceiling.
Goodbye to
There was a goodbye on the ovulus that you had.
Maybe it's because we're in this room. It's
That's such a weird. I just remember that vividly from that her saying that seeing strings coming from the ceiling.
glad you guys remember. 'Cause it's just, I don't.
And then it was a woman, right? Didn't the woman see Jesus?
Yes, yes,
And went wow or something.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't remember any of that. You'll probably think of it later.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of.
What? Well,
Just people call me Chuck all the time. You know. What? Yeah.
They mistake it.
All the time.
Oh, background noise.
Like,
Yeah.
everywhere, if it's Greece or New York or
Is Chuck short for Charles?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
yes.
It's like a ongoing joke for years.
Oh my God.
So many times. And actually, I
How
had
do you
a
not know that? Have you
wireless
never watched Charlie
internet,
Brown?
Come up on our airplane flight. That
Have you
was
ever
Chuck
never watched Peanuts?
To, you know,
Oh,
but the name of
Just
the
weird.
yeah,
Okay.
I've done it. It's been 100 times.
Oh my
It's
God.
been a long time since I watched
know
Peanuts.
this-
I'll take
this
some
was
time
coming
off
from
the
your
next week or
uncle.
so and just kind of watch the
And,
Peanuts stuff. At least the holiday
Have you been
specials.
jogging?
Jogging
Yeah.
Running to the airport.
just at the airport.
Yeah.
Actually, though,
I
yeah.
was like, you're giving me a lot of crap over me because
Oh.
I was like, complete. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yesterday, last time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't keep going. I can't.
And I'm like, Jeff, we have to run. We have to go.
I can't. I gotta stop because I'm not gonna die.
Yeah. Pay attention to that.
Yeah.
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 But okay, so I think that what we're getting here is get the lead out, Chuck.
Oh.
Wow.
Mhm.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's what Collin basically
Yeah.
was telling me.
So,
Well, maybe we'll
Freaky.
discover it.
Yeah.
What did it say when it was talking?
it said lead. But okay, so I think that what we're getting here is get the lead out, Chuck.
Oh.
Wow.
Mhm.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's what Collin basically
Yeah.
was telling me.
So.
Well, shall we go to Collin?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
This room I've always felt also had just negative energy. This is where.
Yeah.
Is this the Ouija board room?
Mm-hmm. And my friend,
Remember that?
he saw a mask fly off the wall. I heard a woman, or not a woman, just something crawling on all fours around the bed.
like second week that we moved in, I always used to see.
This doesn't have the greatest energy.
Even to this day, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Just sleeping in here, hear stuff.
Oh, that.
That little guy we bought in Salem.
Yeah.
So it's not the best, but we
No.
just, Colin thought it looked cool. Of course, so.
What is that?
Well, I think we were thinking of somebody actually.
Well, you're supposed to burn it.
You want to know?
I suggest you
yeah.
burn that thing.
Donna, he has a mask just like you do. From Puerto Rico.
Oh, like the one you, one you brought. Yeah.
And we were in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Yeah, I just got back a couple months ago.
Ah.
Yeah, I saw those. I was like, yes.
Yes, you could use some of that as
Not the
positivity,
mask
you
that
know.
flew off the wall too.
Really?
Back when.
That gives me goosebumps because we were getting a hat, the hat stores down in Old San Juan, and one of those flew off. And the guy who was making the hat just picked it up and he goes, "Oh, other evil spirit," and put it up. Because they're supposed to attack spirits.
Ward it off.
Ward off.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Probably what it was doing.
that's really
Probably
weird.
what it might have been doing. Yeah, it might have actually been warding off something bad.
Ooh, I got a little chilly.
Launched it and knocked it out, knocked its socks off.
Yeah, the little feather. I had a feather in my head.
No, it could be that somebody who was building the room, that had some bad energy going on, something
maybe.
awful happened in their life.
Somebody who was building this particular section might have had some sort of nasty negativity going on in their life at the time, and it just kind of bled into the wood.
Even last night.
This is a controlled,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in here.
Well, thanks, Donna.
Spent my childhood here. Thanks for that.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Shall we see if we get anything on the ambulance?
Sure.
Provide show.
Is Tessa home?
She's downstairs.
What are you going to do with this information?
You gonna put it in the show?
Yeah. Film it. It just started rolling again. Literally. I paused it
You
until.
want to take a picture?
Sure, please.
Stay.
Man, I need to get an Ovilus again.
Well, hurry up.
I know.
Shake hands, shake hands.
Okay.
Need a camera that focuses faster. Take. Stupid machine.
Yes. Basement.
Basement.
Oh, well, Tessa's
Ooh.
in the basement. You should
Go down
feel
there.
good.
Yeah, we could take that down there.
Mm-hmm.
No,
No, after you. No, ma'am. You're the one that brought it along with. You could go take it.
Tonight too, so. That's weird that also seems to focus on Tessa a lot of times, and she's in the basement right now.
And she wants them.
Yeah.
She's selling a lot of these.
But nothing overall you feel in here? Nothing.
Well, I don't feel anything good in here, and I just would soon get out of here.
Yeah.
Just-
I felt like I was being stabbed a while.
Just more, just energy.
Yeah, that's a bad energy room.
It's energy.
100%.
Well, I used to have all the relics too that I collected in here.
Do you have this happen in Austin?
Yeah, our apartment is very haunted. Southern, just said Texas.
Oh.
Weird. What are the odds of that happening? Southern, right when they asked about.
It's not like these things
my-
are built with a microphone for you to talk into either. So the fact
As a
that it
whole,
just
would
suddenly
you say
shouted that out.
It doesn't feel nearly as full of energy as it did before. Because I feel like the first time it was every room we had.
It was everywhere. Remember in the kitchen?
I'd cut my finger that day.
Yeah.
And you instantly came in and said, "Who's got a cut on their finger?" And I was holding the camera like this, and it appeared on my hand because I didn't know how it even happened. It was like, "It's right here." And you're like, "Oh."
We had just been arguing about it. Like I was
Yep.
telling you, you had to have bled a lot. You know, how could you not notice that huge cut? We were late getting here. And we came behind you guys, and Donna walks and goes, "Does somebody have a cut right here? Right on your exact finger?"
Yep.
I'm just lucky my finger didn't bleed because sometimes it does.
Oh.
So when
Yeah.
do you
Interesting.
know
Yeah,
where
it is.
you're moving? I mean, do you know where you're going?
No.
Going, wow.
What?
I just said,
Yeah. And you literally said go as it
Again,
said
this
going.
sound thing doesn't have a
You literally
microphone
said,
built
you
into
know
it. The
where
fact that
you're
it's picking
going,
up
and it said
words going
My
on
point
in the
is
room.
You should bless the house that you move into. You should bless it and like dedicate it to your family, so you don't get this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
More of this kind of thing.
I really don't.
Good energy.
Yeah, that's a big word.
Sacra res.
Sacra res, what is that?
How's it spelled?
SACRARES?
Yeah, okay.
It's sacred. No, it's
It's not sacred.
SACRAPES, isn't it?
No.
Sacra.
No, that's an R. Sacra res.
The sacred reality lying behind the sign, for this sacred reality is the thing signified, a sacrament, says St. Augustine, is the sign of a sacred reality.
That's a really weird word.
Yeah.
It's a
Right,
very
we were
strange
talking about
word
angels.
and very weird meaning behind it.
See that?
Hmm. Interesting.
You and I test.
Wow, that's a really weird word.
But overall, you'd say better energy in here.
Better, definitely.
But I think everyone, the consensus was
perfect.
over there was felt worse.
Yeah, that was.
And then the heat and the.
Yeah.
And when the lady was here, that was weird.
Mm-hmm. I'm even just getting hot out here again.
I am too.
Suddenly.
I'm cold. Mudroom?
Yep.
No.
Yes.
You have some very busy spirits out here.
Do you feel any other human spirits in the area?
Helping spirits. No, I don't feel any humans at all.
Else we can do? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah,
I like to take a bath. I'm like a bath guy. Like
Yeah.
every night to
with that
relax.
beautiful view.
Yeah, well, it seems like, and then I see things like over here all the time. Like someone's passed by.
I've seen that too in here, and I've taken a bath a couple times in here.
Were you beaten as a kid?
Hmm.
Well, I had an abusive stepfather that was alcoholic, but I wasn't beaten like my cousin, but I was beaten verbally a lot.
Did he sneak up on you?
This sounds really weird, but he would come to my door at night and stand outside my door, and he would. It's
Life
interesting.
just did something in you.
Yeah, there's a bad. Yeah.
No.
Nobody's been.
But he would actually pass gas.
Oh, okay.
Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
Kentucky's a good word.
That's why you feel apprehensive, and that's why you feel like there's something out there.
Out to get you.
There isn't. That's a conditioned response.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when, have a talk with yourself,
Yeah.
and when you feel that way again, you say, okay, this is not true. This is where I am now. This is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I have a beautiful life. And concentrate on the moment.
Mhm.
Stay in the moment.
Yeah, I had a dream with him that I went up in my attic and he was on his bed and he was very peaceful and he apologized to me in my dream. It was, and I woke up like, oh, like
He can apologize,
like he had
but
sinned, like
you know,
He apologized,
it's like
but
I
the
tell
wounds
people,
that he
if
spread
somebody
are
drops a
still
rock on your foot,
only
doesn't matter
surface
why,
of
it
your
doesn't
mind deep.
matter if they say, I'm sorry, your foot is still hurts.
Yeah, no, it's
And-
that affected me lifelong. Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to anymore.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird is now that the ovulus says crystal, and those lights that just flicker.
Yeah.
It's literally surrounded by crystals. And I think that said that before it happened too, almost like it predicted it in a weird way. It happened like when you were talking to him right at the beginning.
Well, see, nobody knows what electricity is. Nobody knows. I mean, we all talk about it, we all use it, but we don't know what it is. And I think it's a living intelligence.
And I think it's the energy of the universe.
I'm not so sure about that, but I will give you it's an interesting form of energy that still is constantly produced. And you never know what kind of side effects it has when it tries to get loose.
Show? What the hell? Really just...
No, it was that way. That's weird.
Why did it just do that? Did it just go out?
Well-
Last room of the upstairs.
Oh, aren't you going to hate to leave this?
It does a lot of different things when it tries to get out,
Yeah.
I should say. Anything from damaging things
Sounds a
to
good
feeding energy to the
Good.
strangest
You know,
ways.
There's nothing negative in here. There's worry. Have you been worried?
I'd say I have.
Well, I mean, I can understand why, but I mean, it's a chronic thing.
And we really don't have any place that we're going.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah.
Well, I could see why you'd be worried, but this thing that kind of lives with you,
Like an anxiety?
yeah, kind of thing. But that's all I feel in here. Do you have trouble sleeping then because of that? Because of the anxiety?
Not really.
That's all.
I have a lot of trouble sleeping because of anxiety. A lot of times.
Yeah.
Always just so much to do.
So much to do,
There's
so
a light
little time
again.
to do it in. Trying to catch up with my my
Yep.
reactions. As a matter of fact, wink, wink,
Okay,
nudge,
well, you
nudge.
guys probably need to
Go to sleep.
get packed.
Yeah.
We all need to take a nap.
Well,
Yeah.
What Donna
take
did
a
was comforting,
nap.
but I wanted answers. So, for my last night ever in my house, I decided to kick my family out and investigate the home completely alone, something that I had never actually done in the 5 years that we lived in the house.
Never
The footage
been
that you
alone
were
in the
about to
house for a
see
very
is
long time
completely
either.
undoctored and raw.
Okay guys, so as you probably already know, this is my last night ever in our house. This place has a lot of memories for me, but
Nose.
oddly enough there was just a noise right there. Hello?
Cranking up my headset audio.
And I was about to just say that I don't think it's going to be active in here, but that was kind of weird. That came from the laundry area. But I'm here in the house alone. And to end this episode, I'm just going to state right now that I don't think that this house's energy is something that can be investigated like we do normally on the show. It's not an always active energy. It's very rarely present. So I don't think I'm going to really get any sort of evidence or
Something that's
answer
very much
to any of my
after
questions
you.
when I'm here right now. But I knew that people would want me to investigate, so just for this final portion, I'm here alone in the house. It's pitch black. I've turned out all the lights. I'm actually a little creeped out because this place has always given me the creeps. But I'm going to walk down to the hallway where Tessa and I have always experienced this negative activity and emotion. And I'm going to ask a couple questions just to see if whatever's in here, if it's here right now, will respond to me and give me an answer that I've been looking for the last 5-6 years. Almost looks like Paranormal Activity, like the movies.
Hello, Donna.
A lot of memories in here. Is there anybody in here with me? If you're in here, it's been years now.
We've never properly investigated the house. So can you step over to me?
That's my foot. No, nothing. Nothing but the clicking of my own toes.
I know you've always wanted something from me. So what was it that you wanted? Like I said in the interview, the basement's always been pretty creepy. But this is where I'm going to spend my amount of time. And there's my old high school yearbook and the signed poster for my graduation party. Of course, it is Ghostbusters. Just heard something out there, actually. Hello?
Thought you heard something? Let me rewind it real quick.
Ghostbusters. Just heard something out there, actually. Hello?
Not sure. Not sure I really heard anything. It might have been him moving to turn and look.
To whoever is in this room and this end of the hallway, I don't know if I conjured you and brought you into this household through all of the Ouija boards I did, the strange and macabre items that I collected and brought into the house, or I don't know, maybe you are someone or something that was here in the land before I was even here in the first place. But this is the last chance you have to give me a message or to get at me before I leave forever. So if you have something to say, or you have had something to say this whole time, I am begging you for an answer, and I would like a polite interaction with you if you're here. I used to stand here every day in high school and think, man, I wish I could have a successful paranormal YouTube channel. High school Collin would be proud.
Indeed. I've been wishing for the last several years to have a decent, successful, growing
Can
channel.
you knock on something or
Thank
move
you to
something?
everybody who's been watching lately. You are starting to hit some of the notes
you
I've
are here
been
in the
long
house with
since
me-
I've been hoping for this channel. Don't want to talk too much though. Raw, unedited footage. Oh, I heard that.
There's anybody here with me?
Ooh.
The hell was that?
The house has not been making noise like that. What?
Yeah, I definitely
While
got
he's
that
been
on camera,
moving.
too.
That was loud.
Okay, something just moved out here. And I don't know if I would have to stop the tape, but I don't want to stop right now. I don't know if that was... God, this looks so shitty in here. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if that was something... I'm so hesitant to call something paranormal, but like... I don't know what would have moved. Nothing looks like it moved in here. This is all just stuff that's been laying here. We just got back from Greece last night. This is my last night in the house, like I said. But that sounded like something like hitting this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look back in the footage and see if any of this stuff moved around. Or I don't know, it didn't even sound like something moving. It sounded like almost like a knock. Weird timing too with something in the hallway. That was loud though. There's another noise out in the hallway. There's anybody here with me? Okay. There's anybody here with me? Okay. Was that you in here? All of a sudden, I actually have a headache right here. And I feel like it just got like colder. I was saying earlier that I was really hot, but now it's feeling like chilly for some reason. Everything from my childhood. Zombie novels I used to read. My old Star Wars helmet that I painted with blood. The Wicker Man voodoo guy I got in Salem.
I want to get rid of that from what we were
My
being
first
told.
electric guitar. Like it. 2012, so I would have been a sophomore. Okay, that's me. There I am. Of course I'm in the crack. Sophomore year. Anyways, I'm gonna step into Tessa's
Baby.
room for a second.
Another image of you being a baby. You're a baby man. Your sister's with me.
Is there anybody in this room who knows that they aren't welcome? Can you move something? Or use your voice? Just tell me who you are. It's been
Could be bits of dust. Yeah, it looks like that dust.
years that I've been wondering who you are.
Vehicle going by.
I just heard a whisper over that guitar noise. Over that car noise.
Guitar noise.
I just heard a knock right there. Remember, I'm home alone, guys.
Not
And this
catching any
is
of
creepy.
that.
No one actually wanted to come with me when I did this. I just heard something, but I don't know what it would be. Almost like a whisper, but it came from this direction. This is the last time that I'm ever going to be here. So please, for me, can you tell me who you are and why you have followed me for so many years and at times tortured my family? Who are you? It's definitely really creepy in here. Like, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, not hearing anything.
If there's anybody left in here, please give me a sign.
Did that coat hanger just move?
Please. Anybody left?
Oh my god.
If there's anybody left in here, please give me a sign.
Unless he was just in there for whatever reason, it shouldn't be moving.
This closet just gives me creepy vibes, always has. Look at it, just blurred out right on the closet. This is your final chance to let me know who you are. Anything? Hallway definitely looks a little creepy. Well, like I said before, there's a lot of weird noises in here. Nothing extreme. Maybe I'll check the footage and find something, but I'm gonna call it a night for now, and yeah. Goodbye, house. I loved you. It was fun. But there's always a time to move on.
I'm still
In the
a little weirded
darkness,
out by
my
that
house is a
hanger
very scary
moving.
place. Shadows seem to loom and dance on the walls, every noise becomes threatening, and even walking alone down the hallway to get some water in the middle of the night can occasionally become a nightmarish situation. But in the light, it's very different. I loved that house. It was beautiful, and it was the one place that I could return to and truly feel at home. Needless to say, I was extremely sad to see it pass over into new hands, but it had to happen. So it's 8:30 a.m. right now. This is the last time I'm ever going to be in the house. Just gotta say, it's really bittersweet. Had so many really good memories here, and I was up last night with Jackson talking about everything and just reminiscing on all the fun and dumb shit that we did here. And it's crazy just thinking I'll never, be back here again. So, to any of the spirits that were here when I lived here, thank you for showing me that you exist. These were some of my first paranormal encounters ever, and it took place right here in this house. So I hope you guys eventually find peace, and I thank you for everything that you did for me, and I hope that you'll treat the new owners with respect, because we're not going to be around anymore. But thank you again, and goodbye. It's always hard saying goodbye, but at the end of the day, you have to in life. Sometimes you don't want to go, but deep down in your heart, you know that you have to. At least I've got years and years of extremely fond memories to look back on that took place right there in that house. This is the last picture on my camera roll that I ever took in my house. Pretty fitting, right? It symbolizes so much more than a joke, though. In reality, it means the end of a very important stage in my life that no matter how badly I'd like to, I can never return to.
Finally leaving. We've said our goodbyes to the house. I have at least. And it's really a sad feeling.
As I hugged my family goodbye, it hit me that this was the last time that I'd ever be at my house. My family was moving out, and I was headed back to Texas. It was definitely a bittersweet ending, and even though our haunting was scary, I wouldn't trade my experiences and life in that house for the world. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's Collin here. I'm signing off.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not, but I have it in my mind that I want to visit my my outside of town experience one last time before we move out in the coming spring here. The house cleansed a second time and did some energy work themselves before passing on the home. Nothing malevolent in the house, only energy. Energy is around us everywhere, every time. Just that certain places it can be accumulated, and sometimes it can be accumulated to a positive or a negative. The new homeowners have not reported any paranormal activity. Alrighty. So with that, I guess we'll go to this page here. Hello, live action me. Anyways, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Also, shout out to Collin, because he also, before posting this video, announced that he has just come back from sobriety. He has had an on-again, off-again problem with mostly just alcohol. And apparently it got to him to the point that it started to haunt him a bit, that a lot of the other ghost hunters out there kind of thought of him as the drinking guy. So he has been, I believe, now a couple months sober and is continuing to work at it. And hopefully he stays on the dry boat, shall we say. And good luck to you, man. I hope everything's going well and you stay on being dry. Don't be hesitant to get a drink here or there, but definitely don't overdo it. No more than a drink or two in an evening. As someone who is a professional, wino themselves, yeah, don't be hammering that stuff. Keep it easy. Don't get too burnt on it, and stay the course, man. You're already on it. You just guys keep it up. But that's going to be it for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Check out the links down below if you want to find the Paranormal Files channel, and also this video in particular. Also, check out the links below if you want to find my socials, my backup channels, and also the lovely merch store full of t-shirts, hoodies, v-necks, and a couple of sports bottles with some of our logo stuff on it. But that's it for now. Thank you all again for watching. I will see you all next time. And pleasant dreams.